Hi, everyone. Welcome back, and welcome to another episode of Commanding the Market. I'm your host, the MTG Librarian, and I am joined once again by my favorite co-host, Trent Richardson.
Oh, man, that means so much to me that I'm your favorite co-host. You're my favorite host.
Wow.
So,
Nice. That works out.
I guess it does work out, doesn't it?
Well, everyone, I hope you all have been having a fantastic weekend, getting to crack open Commander Legends and just roll around in the cards. I just throw them on the floor and I roll around in them and throw them up everywhere because I'm so excited. I've been waiting all year for this set, and it's finally released, and we are getting to start planning decks around these cool cards, and it's just reinvigorating the format for me. I do you feel the same way? I mean, maybe aside from the rolling around naked in Magic cards.
I feel the same way about everything you said. Absolutely everything you said. I didn't know that you were talking about rolling around naked in the cards, but that's an added bonus. And at your age, we might want to think about leakage, but other than that.
I was wearing my Depends, so.
Other than that, I think it's perfectly fine. But no, I'm super excited about it too. A pre-release weekend, as you know, you and I got together with Will, and we were able to do a little sealed game, which was super fun and super needed just for the soul, I might add. And I had a fantastic time. Just even though we only played a couple of games, it wasn't that long, but it was really awesome getting to play paper Magic with live people again. So that was pretty awesome and special. But we'll have to do it again sometime soon, and hopefully,
I want to draft this set. I want to draft it so bad.
I'm super excited about picking up some draft booster boxes. So when the time does come that, we're able to do an 8-person draft, or, I mean, even if we can get together and do a 4-person draft, I mean, that sounds pretty stellar to me too.
I don't know how the drafting side of it will go with 4. I'm curious. Like, would we need to throw an additional pack in, or? No, I guess not. I don't know. It's just be weird. Just a 4-person draft, but I'm still game to try it. Just because this is such a unique format for draft.
You're all playing in the same game together anyway, so
Well, yeah, that's true. That's not going to really.
Yeah, so it could be interesting, but what I'm most excited about is some specs that we've got today here on some of these cards.
Oh yeah,
We got a few spicy ones, a few that are. I mean, a lot of these guys are pretty obvious. Just because, man, there's so much value in this set right now. Even though we're constantly tanking day by day on the prices, but what we did want to put out there at the beginning of this episode is that, again, guys, we're not professionals. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. These are just our opinions. But what our opinion is on this set is we think that it's going to be open like crazy. So I don't think we've seen the bottom of these prices yet by any means. I think we're still going to be going down for another few weeks, maybe another month or so before we stabilize. So you got some time to really check it out and feel it out and see what's going on. But man, I mean, I don't know if I'd wait too long on some of these because I don't see how they can go down much more than they already are.
There's a couple that I don't expect, that I think have probably hit their floor already. But there's a couple that I think still have room to go down, simply because unless there's a huge shortage in supply, this, unlike a master set, is half the price. It's going to be cracked like crazy, yet the value with the reprints alone is where typically you see a solid, good master set at. So I really expect this to be open like crazy. The one variable we have in this set, even though it's half the prices of your traditional master set, is it's nearly twice the size, which means getting some of these mythics or even some of these rares, you're not guaranteed to pull after opening a case to get, oh, I've got all the mythics, I opened a case. There's a very good chance you could open a case and still be missing 6 of the mythics from this. So I think that factor may lend a little weight to the value of the mythics. But on the flip side, at the cost of the boxes, so long as there's a chance for arbitrage for box openers, I think we're going to see excessive opening from stores. Trying to push on the singles market, which is going to drive those prices down in the coming weeks.
I've already noticed on TCG, some of the bulk listings are tons of quantities. I mean, 120 of a card.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insanity.
Yeah.
And you don't see that. That's not typical.
Not prior to release. And even after, because we're talking, some of these are on rares and even mythics, that they're listing tons, because they're like, we're going to open a pallet. Because the chance for arbitrage is here right now. That's why I'm thinking these prices are still going to drop from where they're at. But with that in mind, we're going to be talking about cards that basically you want to keep an eye on. Because if they start to shift up, if they start to trend up over the course of several days, you need to pull the trigger if you're interested in getting these cards or interested in speccing on, because that's going to be indicative that they are, in fact, going up. And what you need to do is watch this first week or two following release to see how the cards are trending. And while you may not get on the floor, you'll get very close to the floor and not accidentally buy in at these cards at the still hype-inflated price.
Sure.
So that's kind of our little disclaimer for the start of the show. I do want to add one other thing. I recently sold a copy of Overwhelming Forces for $46.
Overwhelming blunders?
Not so much a blunder. I mean, I made back my money plus a little on it. But what I wanted to point out, I think I sold it for 46. But what I want to point out is TCG will take 10% on the when you're on the bottom tier, and I'm just starting out on the sales on TCG. So, and I of course factored that into my asking price on the card, and I wasn't coming down off that. There were several for a while. There's quite a few that were lower than me, but it caught up because, quite simply, now there's only like 5 or 6 listings of the card once again.
Yeah.
So I was able to get in on that and get mine sold to where I can make back what I spent plus a little off one of the 2 copies. The other one I'm holding on to. The collector in me says I won't get rid of the other one. But I wanted to recoup that initial cost, which I did. And I just wanted to put that out to you guys who are looking at selling potentially online via TCG or eBay or whatever. Please pay attention to what they charge you at the level of seller that you are, because you need to include that in your cost basis, or you're going to end up, when you add that to the shipping costs and the time, essentially losing money. So you need to be aware of that when you're listing your price. But with that aside, let's talk about what we came here to talk about, and those are the good cards and the potentially spec-worthy cards in Commander Legends. So Trent, I want you to start us off this first one, a white card that I think both you and I are pretty high on.
Yeah. So the first one we got here today, and I'm so glad that Wizards has given us yet again one good white card this year. Pretty
now that they gave us 2. They gave us 2 because there was one in a Commander set that was the Rangers, the Verge Rangers. Although I think these are better than the Verge Rangers, although they were also good.
That's right. So the first card here is Keeper of the Accord. It's a 3 and a white human soldier. It's got a 3/4 body on it. And it's got 2 separate abilities. So the first one is, at the beginning of each opponent's end step, if that player controls more creatures than you, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. Second ability, at the beginning of each opponent's end step, if that player controls more lands than you, you may search your library for a basic plains card, put it into the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. So we're talking about that second ability mainly. Yeah, the first one's great. It gives you a little 1/1 soldier token, big whoop. Yeah. The big deal is getting to search up that plains and not putting it into your hand, but putting it onto the battlefield tapped. That is fantastic ramp in white.
Yeah, that is giving you the ramp where you can play catch up with the green player and if there's multiple green players who are ramping to the table, you can keep up with their land drops. And I've seen this card in action already. It was played in a deck on game nights, and it did well. In fact, you watch it. I don't want to spoil or anything there, but the card represented, and it represented well. Particularly that second ability, which is really the one you care about. White goes wide easily, but not on landfall, and that's where it matters. So what kind of price?
Honestly, it's got staying power too, because while it's just a 3/4 body white creature, it's not. If you're looking around the table and threat assessing, I mean,
this is not the card you're looking to remove.
3/4 that's grabbing the white player a land.
That'd be like killing Secure Tribal or something like that. You're just like, okay, it's there. They're gonna get the value. Okay, it happens. You're not going to be targeting that with removal. It'll get taken with a board wipe like everything else, but it's not going to get spot removal on it.
No, for sure. So you're definitely going to get your value out of there. So let's talk about the pricing here. TCG has it for $3.11 at the mid, $4.95. I'm sorry, $3.11 on the market, $4.95 on the mid, and you can get them for as low as $2.60 in bulk. And when I'm saying bulk, guys, like I said at the beginning of the show, we're talking 120 copies bulk. So plenty of them available. Card Kingdom has them for $4.49, and then these two guys are onto it. They know.
Yeah.
Star City Games, $7.99. Channel Fireball, $7.99. I think that's where we're going to end up on this guy.
I think
it's not as good. It's not as good as Smothering Tithe. It's not as good as land tax. It's not as good as Balance. But I mean, it's tier 1.
For white, most certainly. So, kind of similar to another card that came out this year, Verge Rangers. Although, in my opinion, not as good. Because this doesn't guarantee you the lands. Verge Rangers let you look at the top, and if your opponent controlled more lands than you, or you can play lands from the top of your library, so long as the opponents control more lands than you, and you can look at the top of your library at any time. Kind of Courser Crewfix-esque. But this one lets you search them up repeatedly.
And put them into play tapped.
Yeah, which is amazing because it also triggers at the end of each opponent's instep, which means this can net you 3 lands in a single turn cycle into play. Especially if you roll the lowest die. I mean, at the beginning of the game, you're looking pretty good on the curve here. Yeah.
This will ramp you from 4 to 7 by the time your turn comes around.
Very potentially. Especially if your other opponents are ramping in green. It's strong. It's very strong. And with the body's not bad. The cost, in honesty, I would have preferred this was a 2/2 for 3 mana. Or a 3/3 for 3 mana, but I'll take it at 4 because white needs its ramp where it can get it because it's too few and far between.
Yeah, even at 4, still great card.
Now let's
move on to another one here.
Yeah, this next one's a reprint. We got quite a few reprints on here because there's a lot of reprint value in this set. This next one is Staff of Domination. It needs no introduction. 3 casting cost artifact. It does a gambit of things. You can pay 1 to untap it, pay 2 and tap it to gain a life, pay 3, tap it to untap target creature, pay 4, tap it to tap target creature, pay 5 to draw a card. This is a common, I have infinite mana, now I win card. You put it in there when you can go infinite, and the second you hit infinite mana, you draw your deck, you hit your win con, you play it, you win. This card, it currently is sitting at a market price of $6.94 and a mid of $7.44, with bulk on TCG as low as $6.40. $9.99 Card Kingdom, $9.99 Star City Games, $6.99 Channel Fireball, which is a little bit surprising there. But of course they're out of stock because it's $6.99 on Channel Fireball. This card, for those who need a frame of reference here, was a $50 card before seeing its first ever reprint.
It's still a $50 card.
The OG one from Fifth Dawn, yeah. Now, it can't stay this low. It is one of the best known combo enablers in EDH. It's not going to stay that low because what's kept people off this card, and I notice you don't have the numbers played in here on this one in decks, but that's irrelevant. In part, when you hit that 50 plus price mark on a card, it tends to see less play to a degree because it's cost prohibitive for players to add it to decks. Not because it wouldn't be good in their decks, just because they don't have the budget to throw for a $50 card. Well, now it's a very
everybody's got
card.
$7.
And now you have this combo enabler for $7 that used to be out of the price range. So people are going to go, hey, I need this card. They're going to swarm to it and start picking it up. And as that happens, and I don't think this will be an overnight. It's not going to be overnight. This is going to hike up. You've got time, like we're saying with a lot of these cards. You have time. There's a few exceptions, but for the most part, you've got time on these cards. But you want to keep your eye on it because when you start to see it tick up, if this is a card you want to invest in or just need to have to pick up to put in decks, watch this. When you start to see the trend up, you need to pull the trigger then because it's nowhere near where its high is gonna be a year from now.
Yeah,
because I expect at least to double up within a year, if not a triple up.
This is only its second reprinting.
Yeah,
I mean it's first reprinting, second overall printing.
Yeah,
I mean, how do we go? It just I've never seen this before where we're getting a rare.
I think it actually had one, although you can't exactly call the reprinting. I think it was a masterpiece.
Yeah, well,
but that doesn't really count as a reprint. It's not
But how do you go from a $50 card in a set that's 20 years old,
15,
never being reprinted?
15
years later. I'm sorry.
That's all good. I'm math real quick.
Losing 80% of its value over that for one reprint?
No.
That's silly.
Yeah.
It's absolutely silly. And
not at rare.
Caliber.
Like at uncommon or common that can happen, but not at rare. It's gonna recover. It's gonna recoup that within a year. Not the difference it's not gonna be a $50 card, but I can easily see this, like I said, being a $10, $15, $20 card within a year or two.
Yeah. This, easily, in my opinion, is $20 worth of power. I mean,
yeah,
plain and simple. So, I picked these guys up at $6.94. I would not be shocked if by the end of next week this is sitting at like $5, just because of the mass openings.
A little more, yeah. And that's the thing about this. That's the kind of interesting variable. We're going to see a ton of opening of this product, more than typical of, say, a master set, because it's not so cost prohibitive. Yeah. The only thing that can deter that would be a shortage of product to open. And since they pushed back the release, they want to make sure they had a sufficient amount of product. And we don't really have that we know of. There's no big set coming out until Kaldheim that we're aware of. There's not going to be a secret set suddenly popping off here in December, so we may see another wave of this, but I have a feeling they're trying to do reprint waves of Jumpstart before this, just to catch up on Jumpstart, because that one's still way overinflated. That's just my guess, though. I'm speculating here. That's what we'll see.
It's crazy.
Tell us
the
about
next
this
one we
next
got
one.
Here is a bit of a long shot, I'll admit.
A little bit. But right now at the price, it's really good price right now.
Yeah. So who likes Natty Light? I'm not talking about the beer. I'm talking about Magus of the Order. As you know, Magus of the Order is just basically all the Maguses are just abilities from other cards that are in Magic history that are fantastic. Now they're on a stick.
Yeah.
So Magus of the Order. It's 2 colorless and 2 green for a human wizard on a 3/3 body. You pay a single green mana, tap it and sack it, and another green creature, and then you get to search your library for a green creature card, put it into the battlefield, and shuffle your library.
Mm-hmm.
So, a pretty awesome combo people play with natural order, which is where this card comes from, is, sacking a Land of War Elves or something and going getting a Crater Hoof Daddy,
Mm-hmm.
just hoof them. And
Oh yeah.
so this does cost, natural order costs 2 and 2 green. This costs 2 and 2 green, but you do have to pay an extra green.
And you're kind of sacking 2 creatures in a way.
Kind of sacking 2 creatures. You're paying an extra green mana, which, is fine. But, if you're already running natural order in your deck, this is a really easy include. I mean, it's got to be better than your 98th card.
Well, the other thing, the first deck that came to mind when I saw this card, which is where I want to add mine, because I did open one for my pre-release. I really like this in Maryland. And I'm sorry, not Maryland, Marin.
Marin, yeah.
Because in Marin, I'm able to sack another creature, potentially get one of those back into turn via Marin, but also I can get the nastiest thing out of my deck, which might be like a Protean Hulk or what have you, that I'm then able to combo off with. It just seems like a no-brainer in that deck. Having it now on a body, it's a creature tutor on a body that puts it directly into play and basically cheats mana costs, and it's recurable in Marin. That's really strong there.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So let's get down to the pricing on this. TCG market price is 39 cents, 50 cents mid, and you can get them for the low price of 32 Abraham Lincolns.
That's a penny. For those of you who weren't keeping score.
For those of you who are not keeping score, that is 1 penny. So 32 cents. Card Kingdom 79 cents, Star City Games 99, and Channel Fireball 99 cents as well. Again, this is a long shot. The only Magus I can think of that really has ever done anything is Magus of the Moon. But most of them, Magus of the Abyss maybe was
I think the Coffers, I can't remember if the Coffers did all right or not.
Yeah,
most of the Maguses don't do very well, though.
They usually don't. But, I mean, this is the most reasonable one to use and put as a slot in your deck. The caveat being you're already kind of wanting to have this ability and you already have it in the deck in natural order.
Yeah, this is kind of for a lot of EDH decks that you might build. This is a must answer card. Like if it turns the table and they don't answer it, you could potentially just win from that creature, that one creature you're able to get off it. I mean, it's not quite as definitive as Tooth and Nail, but it's also half the cost of a Tooth and Nail Entwined.
Yeah.
For activation. So, I like it is a long shot because it's just a rare. There's going to be a bunch, and it's a Magus because the Magus is, like we discussed, traditionally don't do amazing. But I do think there is some value to be had from this and potential growth on this card in the market down the road. And right now, 32 cents. That's like a steal on this card.
Yeah, just buy $5 worth of them. What are you gonna? I mean, don't pay the shipping. $5 worth of them. That's like 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. That's like 16 copies of it. 4 play sets. I mean, why not? You know.
Now this next thing we're going to talk about is actually a cycle, and that's the land cycle which is the follow up from the original land cycle of Battle Bond, and those are the multiplayer, if you will, dual lands. Rejuvenating Springs, Training Center, Undergrowth Stadium, Spectator Seating, and Vault of the Champions, all of which have the same caveat that they come into play tapped. They tap for 2 different colors and come into play tapped so long as you can have more than one opponent. And don't worry, hug decks out there. Even though you're helping them, they still count as opponents.
Yes.
Now, when the original Battle Bond lands came out, they were around the $5 to $7 mark. I think at the time people were underestimating the value. Some people were underestimating them and the value for EDH. But now today those run anywhere from $11 to $18. The lowest being Spire Garden at $11, Morphic Pool at $18, and they pretty much go into every single multicolor commander deck that can run them. So right now, these Battle Bond the other half of the cycle of Battle Bond lands here in Commander Legends are running around the $9 to $10 mark, which means they probably have a minimum. But again, there's a difference in printing as far as quantity going to be opened compared to Battle Bond, because I think Battle Bond was significantly underappreciated and underopened at its time, just by judging how quickly the boxes spiked on that. But right now, I don't think I would jump on the lands. That being said, I think you should, one, hold on to any you open because they will grow in time, and two, keep an eye on the price, because I think as these get cracked and we see these bulk numbers hitting 120 of this available and of that, of these lands, the price is going to, I believe, tank over the course of the next month. That perceived value will not be sustainable in the face of people trying to make their sales of these cards that they've already paid money for in these openings. They need to recoup. So those prices are going to drive down over the course of the next month. You watch that daily basis, watch the trend, and as soon as you see a price that A, you're happy at, or B, the trend starts to tick back up, you pull the trigger then and get in while you can. Like we're saying with a lot of these.
Anything under $8 for any of them.
Yeah, you won't be upset. Yeah, but
you're not going to be upset.
Yeah, within a year or two, they're going to be well over that. Barring
far to go. Yeah. They don't have far to go. Most of them are sitting around like $9.99 right now.
Yeah,
I mean, so I think the cheapest one you can get on TCG Player right now is like $7.56 or something like that. I believe that's the red-white one.
The Boros colors pairing? That makes no sense.
But either way, I mean, I'm all in on them. I was all in on the Battle Bond ones, and I'm so glad I was. And I'm going to be doing the same thing here. Of course, I'm always all in on any of the good lands. It's just a solid investment.
Dual lands that can enter untapped are so good and so few and far between.
So the next one we got here is one of everybody's most excited about cards anyway. So here's the thing. I was super excited when they were announced this card for the list. But then when they announced it for Commander Legends right after, I was like, what? Why would you do both? That just is lazy.
Yeah, but that's kind of been the theme this year. A lot of cards are seeing reprintings in multiple sets this year, which is surprising, but a lot of these cards we're talking about that they're reprinting are staples to the format. So kudos for trying to get them out to players.
Yeah. So let's talk about Scroll Rack, and man, a scroll down memory lane, if you will. So this is an artifact for 2 colorless mana. 1 colorless mana, tap it, and you exile any number of cards from your hand face down. Put that many cards from the top of your library into your hand, then look at the exiled cards and put them on top of your library in any order. So basically, you're just like exchanging the same number of cards in your hand for the same number of cards on top of your library, but you get to put the cards in your hand on top of your library in any order. This is super sweet and always has been. Ever since it came out in, what was it, Weatherlight? Tempest?
Tempest.
Tempest.
Yeah, it was Tempest.
People have been abusing and using this card, even back then when we didn't have the Hive Mind. It's always been great. So it's in white decks. It's great for card draw.
Used in conjunction with land tax.
With land tax.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anything that lets you shuffle your library. This basically says I'm going to throw the useless in my hand away and draw different cards off it.
It's like a super brainstorm. A super brainstorm.
Yeah.
On a stick.
On a stick.
Yeah. So, and it's going to become even more important with new commanders that have just been coming out, such as Amareth of Illustrious, God Eternal Kefnet, Eureka, the Tiger's Shadow, and Hans Eriksson, the newest commander that's coming out.
Ach, Hans, run!
But before it's been reprinted in the list and now Commander Legends, this card's other versions saw highs of $120, $140. The other versions have come down to around $70 to $80 or so. Unfortunately, and I don't know if it's unfortunate, I don't know. This copy is going to probably stay down for a while and probably even go lower. But right now, let's talk about where it's at. It's currently played in 9,000 decks. Again, because it should be played in every deck. It's
been cost prohibitive to so many people in so many decks, but it's like dividing.
This should really be 40,000 decks it should be played in.
Yeah,
and we'll see that number tick up here over the next few months. Now that we're in a reasonable playing field, TCG Market has it for $28.78, mid $29.70. Card Kingdom has them for $49.99, which is, good luck. Star City Games $29.99. Channel Fireball only has one in stock at $27.99, and you can get them in near mint bulk as low as $26.86. $26
for a scroll.
I still
rack?
think for a scroll rack is just mind blowing to me. But I still think there's room to come down. Even though it is a mythic, we still haven't seen the bottom on it. I think we're gonna see
probably
not much more. I can't see it going below 25. But if it hits 25, man,
even at the current price, I'm picking up a couple. Just because I need them for decks, and the only one I own is the original Tempest one, which I paid 2 years ago. I paid $50 for it, and that was a steal at the time. I don't regret it. It's the original. I love the old artifact borders. I love the brown.
Oh yeah, me too.
But regardless, I like the ability even more. So I need it for other decks. At this price, it's still good. But if you're looking to invest, I do agree. I think it's going to tick down a little bit more before it starts to go back up.
Yeah, this card just looks too weird to me in the silver border.
It does. The brown cabinets are supposed to blend more.
Yeah, I really think that they should have taken the opportunity to revitalize the art on this card.
Yeah, I agree. I love, you got Hannah digging for the scrolls and all. That's hearkening back to that. But at the same time, they could have gone a new way because it feels off to me with that border.
It does. I digress.
Now,
anyway,
speaking of old cards reprinted with newer art, this next one here, again, like Scroll Rack, really needs no introduction, and that's Vampiric Tudor. It is a mythic last reprinted 3 years ago in Eternal Masters. That is a single black for an instant. Search your library for a card, then shuffle your library and put that card on top of it. You lose 2 life. You know what that combos nicely with?
Anything you need in your hand the next turn?
Scroll Rack, because you can then just put it in your hand and you got that shuffle to boot. Yeah. Anyway. Now, Vampiric Tudor is no surprise to players who've been playing CEDH for a while. It is one of the most sought after tutors in CEDH. That and Demonic Tutor are kind of the go-to tutors of the format. And it is currently played in 37,000 decks. And this newest version from TCG Market is, or the market price is $48.22 currently, with a mid of $49.99. Card Kingdom has it in stock at $49.99. Star City Games, the same, $49.99. And Channel Fireball has 4 in stock at $59.99, which is kind of interesting that they've actually sold more than the others at a higher price, but go figure. And you can get bulk, near mint bulk on TCG for as low as $49.94. So everyone is outside Channel Fireball is roughly right around the same price point, which leads me to think that this probably will see a little more of a dip before it starts to hike back up, is my guess. I'm thinking, though, I know some people are speculating that this is going to be a $30 or sub $30 card within the next month or two. I don't think we're going to see that kind of low. I made that mistake with Double Masters, thinking that would happen with land tax and a few other cards, and we were shocked to find out that how very wrong we were. Even after the initial, low supply and then got reintroduced and the prices then deflated again, some of those mythics like land tax never really saw the numbers we thought they would. The $17 mark we were expecting from land tax. 26 was about as low as it ever hit. I don't think we've quite hit the floor on Vampiric Tudor, though.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I will say is this is one you need to keep your eye on. You need to watch how it's trending, because this card, previous to this most recent printing, hit nearly $140. A double up, a 100% increase in price this year alone. Because, again, 37,000 decks. This is one of those cards like Soul Ring that if you can put it in your deck, it should be in your deck if you're looking to win. Now, if you're looking to just play pet cards and super casual, that's cool. Keep the tutors out. You'll be very casual. You may not win often at the table, but you may have more fun. Just saying, you may, because tutors do tend to draw decks towards a more linear strategy. But obviously, if you're looking to sit down and play games and win games, tutors are must for your deck. And this being one of the absolute best tutors ever printed, it's not going to stay deflated for long. So while I think we may see this hit around 35, 40, I would not be surprised if 45 is the absolute bottom on this.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. It can't go much lower. There's just too big of a market for it. And you can see Channel Fireball's already sold half of their stock at an inflated price from everyone else.
Yeah.
That's an indicator right there that the market is underpriced currently. So we may have, I think we have probably seen the floor on Vampiric Tudor. I can't imagine it going much lower than it is now. And even $5 is a lot. I mean, that's
and again,
that
one big variable that comes in, I guess it's two, is size of the set with the number of mythics in it versus cost of the product, which makes it very affordable for businesses and individuals to crack boxes and cases. But then you have that last little variable that 2020 brought us that has meant we don't know how big the supply is going to be. Now they're talking this is going to be a POD, but we don't know how long it's going to be till they can truly get back on cycle with printing. And you know they're going to put the priority on printing the newest thing. We've got a couple months where this will be the newest thing. But come January in Kaldheim, that's where they're going to put their printing power. They're going to want Kaldheim to be churned out without people waiting on it. So there's a lot of variables here. Like there may become a point where there's only so much product that could get opened.
Right. Well, but we shall see. But my initial thoughts are a bit of the opposite of that. So we'll see what happens there. Everybody keep your eye out on Vampiric Tudor. Great card. You need it. grab you one now.
More than
tomorrow,
one. I that's
yesterday.
the one Tudor I don't have besides Imperial Seal. So I'm going to be picking one up because I've been waiting for this set to get. I've been waiting for a reprint since Eternal Masters to give me a shot at cracking it.
Yeah, fortunately, I cracked one. I did crack a vampiric Tudor. So
you could just go on about all the nasties you cracked. Like, just
I've gotten everything so far from this set that I wanted,
which is basically every expensive card.
Today,
I think that's literally every expensive card in the set that you told me about. You got.
I finally pulled the Lotus today. So
foil
and
mana
a foil
drain.
mana drain. Yeah, that was pretty nice.
Spicy.
So anyhow, I am happy if I don't. I mean, I'm going to open more, but if I didn't, I'd be perfectly happy because I've got a hull breacher. I got the oppression agent. I've got everything.
I can't wait to crack some more so I can get my second, third, and fourth seraphic crap sword, not great sword, crap, whatever it's called. I know I'm going to pull a ton of them, and I'm going to be so annoyed.
Yeah.
But I can use them as like dividers and binders and stuff. Just bend them up and go. This is where my white boxes are of cards. So anyway, tell us about this next one here. This uncommonly good spec.
Yep. So Thought Vessel. No surprise here. Probably the most valuable uncommon in the set. I mean, currently it's not, but it will be.
Yeah.
Thought Vessel, if you don't know, 2 colorless mana for an artifact. You have no maximum hand size, and it taps for a colorless mana. Pretty straightforward. TCG market is $2.56 on the mid. And the mid is $2.72. Card Kingdom, $2.49. Star City Games, $4.49. Channel Fireball, out of stock at $3.20, and you can get them for $2.40. Bulk prices near mint on TCG. Now, this card's played in over 40,000 decks. This is, number 2 to Soul Ring in most decks, especially if you're drawing any amount of cards in your deck.
Just a 2-mana rock that enters untapped is always valuable.
Yeah.
With upside.
And even though it's been reprinted 6 times, all the other copies are back between $8 and $10. This is going to go up. Now, again, there's going to be a lot opened, and this hasn't been printed massively like this
in a while,
in a long time.
Yeah.
So this, just think about what would happen if they put Soul Ring in these packs. Like, I don't know that it could ever come back from that.
I don't know though, because they put Soul Ring in every single Commander product for the last 7 years.
Yeah, but that's only. Yeah, you're right. I don't know.
That's 4 to 5 products a year, and this year alone it was like 5,
10?
6, 7, 8, 9.
9?
No, 10, 11 products this year, and I think it's still a $3 to $350 card.
Yeah,
because it Thought Vessel like Soul Ring. Yes, Thought Vessel is not as good as Soul Ring, but I still feel it is at 40,000 decks is pretty clear, and the fact that most of these run between $8 to $10, it's a pretty big staple of EDH.
Yeah, for sure.
And one of the better rocks you can put in outside of Signet.
So, you're right. Solid investment. Is it going to get back to 8 to 10?
No. They'd have to just stop printing it for 5 years or more for that to happen.
Could we see $5? Yeah,
I think so.
I think we could get back to $5. After 5, maybe to 6, but I think it kind of stops there. I think 8 to 10 is gone, unless it's going to take a long time for them to not print it again in a massive set like this to get back to that $8 to $10 mark. We'll see what happens with. It was reprinted 2 other times this year in mystery boosters and the
And the
list.
list.
So,
yeah,
we shall see what happens.
We were talking
with that
about those multiple reprints in a single year. Now, this next one I'm hoping you'll talk about, actually, because the last one, beyond that, I'd like to talk about because it kind of breaks our mold a little bit. So
yeah, sure.
So I'm going to let you talk about this next one here.
Sure. So the next one we got here is a Command Beacon. It's a land. It taps for a colorless mana. But that's not what you put it in your deck for.
It's not?
You put it in your deck. No, you put it in your deck so you can put your commander into your hand from the command zone.
Just by tapping and sacrificing it?
Yeah.
I could think of a couple occasions when like somebody like nuked my commander so many times I couldn't get them back in play, and I was so annoyed because I couldn't spend the 16 to freaking 18, 20 mana to get them back into the battlefield. But I'd really like to have them because you just nerfed my entire theme. I'm not bitter or anything. Is that salt?
Doesn't sound bitter. So yeah, this guy, Command Beacon's played in over 10,000 decks, and obviously we know why now. TCG Market has it for $2.56, mid at $2.72, Card Kingdom at $4.99, Star City Games at $7.99, Channel Fireball at $8.99.
Keep going. Yep.
TCG near mint bulk as low as $3.82. Wowzers.
Yeah.
Channel Fireball, Star City Games. You guys are living the dream. Living that dream.
Well, that's the cool thing about this. This card was a $20 to $25 card before this reprint. And it's one of those cards that, yes, it's only played in over 10,000 decks, but it's one that could easily go in 90% of decks. There's a few cases when you have like 2-cost commanders, like if you're going Thrasios and Tymna, partner pairings, you don't really need Command Beacon all that much.
For the big boys, though.
Yeah, when you're playing those more expensive commanders, Muldrotha or Eldrazi, the ability to go, oh boy, I can't afford the now, 12 mana on Muldrotha, or because it's died several times. Because Muldrotha, we all know, is a magnet for removal.
Yeah. And you know what? This could get around Tevesh Zat's ultimate
if you use in response. Yeah. Because if it's in your command zone, not in play, if your commander's in your command zone and Tevesh Zat, the new Tevesh Zat pops, you just go, okay, well, in response, I'm going to put my commander into my hand. And Tevesh Zat can't get it there. Kind of a little fun tech workaround there. And, we kind of mentioned Muldrotha a moment ago, right? As his ability that he could literally, you sack this to play Muldrotha, and then you can immediately replay the land you just sacked to put him into your hand. Essentially meaning Muldrotha will only ever cost you 6 mana, period. Pretty good use, and that's, in my opinion, a 100% of the time must use in Muldrotha deck. And it's not like Muldrotha's played in a lot of decks, or is a commander, considering he's the number 2 all-time EDH commander ranked. He used to briefly be number 1. He lost that slot, I think, back to Atraxa when Atraxa got reprinted back in Double Masters. However, Atraxa, I think you're going to lose your crown again because they printed 2 really good cards for Muldrotha that will work so well with him to make sure you can pretty much always guarantee that Muldrotha will be a castable. And that's, of course, Command Beacon we just talked about, and the Jeweled Lotus. So with that in mind, I'm thinking, how is that foil etched Muldrotha doing? So I decided to look into that, see maybe how he's looking. And this is kind of breaking the mold. We normally don't talk about foil cards on this show as good investment options. However, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm sticking my neck out there. This is not Trent. This is my neck out there. I'm going to say, I'm think
with you, though.
You agreeing? Okay. We didn't talk about this before, so I didn't know where he was on this. I feel that the foil etched Muldrotha, despite Commander Legends collector boosters packs, probably going to open a ton of them, and they're available possibly even in draft boosters, I still think that the foil etched Muldrotha is going to be highly sought after. And the numbers are kind of showing that. I mean, when we look at Muldrotha, overall, he's played in over 11,000 decks. And current TCG market on them is $21.34 with a mid of $19. Okay. Card Kingdom has them in stock for $21.99. Star City Games out of stock at $29.99, and Channel Fireball out of stock at $30. But here's where it gets really spicy. You can get them a near mint bulk for as low as $14.92 on TCG Player, which is already $5, $6 under the market price and $5 under the mid. So something's got to give. There's a fair number. When I say a fair number, not that many. There was about 30 to 40 listings, a couple of which had multiples. Most of them were one-ofs. There was a couple that had multiples in the low teens. None of that like 120 copies kind of thing. But just because of the popularity of this card and the fact that we're seeing a reprint of the much-needed Command Beacon in this set and the new printing of Jeweled Lotus, which pairs so nicely with Muldrotha, I feel people are going to be revisiting Muldrotha going, okay, you know what? I'm going to build this. And it's good in the 99 too. Muldrotha is insane in the 99 of so many decks.
So here's my hot take, and this isn't specifically on Muldrotha, but it's on these etched foils. I don't know if you've had the opportunity to see one and hold one. And
I've opened one so far.
They're gorgeous. On it is different than your standard foiling.
You don't have that humidity issue.
You can tell straight out of the pack. Usually foils here where we're at, you open a foil, it's already curled.
Yeah, we call them Pringles here, by the way.
Yeah. It's not curled crazy. It's not crazy, but there is a slight warp to the foils here where we live.
Yeah.
There is zero on these etched foils.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell, again, it's like the thickness of the card overall is different. Just on the front part, not the back part, but like it's ever so slight, but it is different. Now, that makes me think that maybe etched foils first of all, they should just make foils like that, period.
Yeah,
that's just how they should be made. Because if in fact, and we'll find out in time, if in fact they don't curl, there's no reason that they shouldn't. That is just got to be the gold standard.
It just looks so much better than regular foils.
And if that's the case, these are the first time they've ever printed the new foiling method. And guess what cards cost from the first time they print foil?
So you're talking about from Urza's Destiny? I think that was Destiny. That was the first. And of course the 7th edition ones as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they only go for like, I don't know, 10
I think a
to 30 times the normal price.
I think a Wild Growth is only like $120 right now, foil from 7th edition. So I think it might be worth investing in these etched foil cards, any and all of them.
I think we're going to see a price drop on a number of them. Mm-hmm. Because the collector boosters are going to put a huge surge into the marketplace, whereas you see maybe one at tops 2 in a draft box, you're getting 3 in every collector booster. But as those collector boosters, which have a limited supply run out, we're going to start to see these prices after they get collapsed start to grow again because they're gorgeous. They are really gorgeous cards.
They're special. Yeah.
So I think you need to keep an eye on the foil etched cards from this set and get in on them on the lows where you can. And with Muldrotha right here, Muldrotha prior to this reprinting, the Dominaria one, the just non-foil regular Dominaria one, was $15. You can get the foil etched right now for $14.92 bulk, and believe me, there is a gorgeous difference between the two.
Oh yeah.
So
For
yeah.
sure.
I want to get one. I have a muldrotha deck. I want it to sit at the head of my muldrotha deck. It's one of my favorite decks.
Yeah, it'd be dope. Well, that's all we had for this episode, guys. And I'm so glad you joined us yet again for another episode of Commanding the Market.
Yeah.
You know, guys, keep your eyes peeled for sweet, sick deals out there. Let us know in the comments down below if you guys have any cards you're looking forward to from Commander Legends, any cards that you expect might have some value that we may have missed or didn't talk about.
Your specs.
Because we're always looking for new specs. And hey, if you guys are right, we'll jump on with you and we'll all ride the train together to Gravy Town. So,
and if you're liking what you're seeing here, be sure to let us know by hitting that like button. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Hit that notification bell so you know when we have a new content out. We also do gameplay videos as well, so be sure to check those out. And when it comes to sharing this content, because we'd like you to share it, because we want to grow our audience, we'd like you to share it with lots of people, including
your mommies, your daddies, your sisters, your brothers, your cousins, your sisters, your aunts, your uncles, your twice removed stepchildren that don't even throw eggs at you anymore. They're just tired of throwing eggs.
All of whom you're going to see at Thanksgiving this year, because you're going to go for a super spread or Thanksgiving. And hopefully you guys will stay safe during that. But either way, when you're there at Thanksgiving and people start talking about finances, stocks, or whatever, we go, you know what? I got something for you on that.
That's right. And that's when you bust us out. And we'll come in, we'll ride in on gallant steeds.
That's right. Nightmares.
Anyway, guys, we really do appreciate you guys taking a look at our videos, and a lot of work goes into this stuff, and Hale, does a lot behind the scenes and putting these videos together. So we really do appreciate each and every single one of you for taking the time out of your day to give us a listen and a watch. So
yeah,
we really do appreciate that. But until next time, keep commanding the market.
Peace.